Yo, this is a motherfucker who needs no introduction. You are watching Breaking Records Radio.
Alright, so you are now tuned in to Breaking Records Radio. My name is Alex, and I have here with me a New York MC by the name of G4. As an artist, he's worked with a wide range of underground giants like Ito, Flea Lord, Vic Spencer, Jamal Gasol, The Real Schizo, Akil Ali, and plenty more. With the latest project, Progression, which dropped recently in September, which you can now pick up on Bandcamp. Please welcome to the show, G4. What's good, my man?
What's up? What's up? Thanks for having me on. Salute to Breaking Records.
Man, of course. I said this at the beginning of the call here, but I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day to speak to me here. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
And likewise to you, man. We appreciate you guys who have your platforms and sharing with the independent artists. You know, it's hard, for independent artists to have a voice. We do everything ourselves. So whenever you guys, reach out and give those opportunities, it's a big deal for us.
Yeah, 100%. This is the music that I listen to. This is the music that the radio station kind of appeals towards, and it's the shit that I think is dopest, to be fair. So it's the material that I want to end up giving a platform, and I want to be able to learn more about the art. So yeah, we appreciate you 100% coming on, and yeah, this is right up the alley. We play your shit on the radio, and we're glad to have you as a guest. I'd like to start the conversation by talking about some history and just, I guess, kind of getting to know you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on.
All right, good. I just switched to the Beats speaker so I can get a little more volume on you.
Yeah, so, not a problem. So I'd like to start the conversation off by talking about some history and I guess getting to know you more as an MC and your history. But just, I guess, starting right from the very beginning, what was your first introduction to hip hop culture? Not even necessarily injecting yourself into it in any kind of way and participating in it, but just from a fan's perspective, what was your first introduction to the culture?
From a fan's perspective, my first introduction to the culture would be like just watching my moms and my pops around the house playing kind of like the old school Sugar Hill Gang, Big Daddy Kane, and all type of things like that, and just really catching those vibes as a kid. My pops was a DJ, so he was into he was into house music and early hip hop. So I was always kind of around those vibes. Then once I got able to listen, once I was of age, I was younger than of age, but shout out to my grandy. My grandmother got me that Snoop Dogg album, Doggy Style. You know what I'm saying? I was all the way tuned in.
Gotcha. You said your pops was a DJ. Did you grow up in New York? Was he a DJ in New York?
Yeah, I grew up in New York.
What was his name?
He was a house DJ more on the underground market. His name was DJ Sir Juice.
DJ Sir Juice. Man, I love covering some of that early history. What era would this been? Kind of the mid-'80s, late 80s?
Late 80s, early 80s also.
Gotcha. And when you were, I guess, introduced to, in the house anyways, to you mentioned artists like Big Daddy Kane and Sugar Hill Gang, what was your first experience kind of listening to those? What was your reaction? Did you know that was something you identified with early on, or?
Back then, as kids, we wasn't really identifying with the verbiage yet. I didn't really tap into, as I got more into my teenage years and really revisiting those records and understanding what was going on from a lyrical standpoint. But at that point, it was more like the music, the beats, what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And I always thought, boom bap, had a different kind of, it resonated with me. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit was always heavy for me, as well as 70s soul music. That's another thing that's like really big with me. Nowadays, I don't really listen to a lot of hip hop anymore because I write so much, but I listen to a lot of 70s soul. I listen to a lot of R&B. So, that's what I'm into.
I think a lot of the soul sounds come out in the production as well for a lot of your joints, right? It is that gritty boom bap. It's very much in kind of line with what a lot of your collaborators like Ito and Flea Lord and whatnot are working with. But at the same time, there is that kind of underlining kind of soul sample palette that exists in a lot of your music. So I think I can see that.
No, I appreciate that, bro. I'm glad you noticed that. Yeah, I think that's something that, is definitely my brothers and, all my comrades, my Lord My brothers and, those who are not Lord My, but I still do music with in this lane. We all have, very similar tastes. But if you listen to, what G4 does, what I do with, got me speaking in the third person and shit, excuse me. What I do is, try to, really bring that soul vibe to the music,
100%. So you're listening to it from a fan's perspective, but at what period of time do you start realizing that this is something that you want to do, this is something you want to participate in, and start kind of dabbling in it yourself?
I didn't start pinning until I was about 16, 17 years old. I started a little later than most people. I was
What
into
era
like
is that?
sports.
Is that like late 90s, early 2000s?
Late 90s, late 90s. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I started writing in the late 90s, like 9, 7, 9, 8, 9, 9, that era. And that was more being in high school and being around my peoples. We had a little clique called Iced Out Entertainment. Shout out to my boy Manny and RP, my boy Arsonist, you know what I'm saying? But we all started together in high school, just, banging on the table, my little bro G Danger making the beats on the table and us doing that, doing that hip-hop thing. I always tried to, take my shit a step further. I ended up doing a little, high school competition and all that kind of shit. And I was kind of the newest one, to the culture as far as in my cycle of friends, because they all been rapping already. I was new. I just like kind of starting to that shit. So just like, kind of how my story is in hip hop, I always kind of start off at the bottom, you know what I'm saying? Like, and just work my way up, you know what I mean? But when you're passionate about something, you put the work in.
So was it rapping that you identified with first, or were you mentioned early on it was the beats and the production that kind of grabbed you anyways as a fan? Did you ever dabble with kind of production early on, or DJing, or even like breakdancing and graffiti? Were those things that you were interested in too, or was it mostly writing early on?
Early on, I was heavily into drawing. Anybody who knows my childhood story and stuff like that, art is something that's always been a part of me. So drawing and tagging it my name and notebook papers and shit like that. Not really outside spray painting and things like that, but just more as a hobby, keep to yourself type shit. And that was really my first dabbling into my creative side, for real. It was the drawing side of the art, and then. Like I said, as I got older and seeing my friends really get into it, I wasn't, these are the guys I'm hanging out with every day. So, these motherfuckers is rapping. This shit is cool. I like this shit. I think I could write some cool shit. So I took my hand at it, you know what I'm saying? And then, lyricism started to really... Lyricism was always important to me as a fan because I was into as I started to get into my teenage years, listening to the Locks and Cam and Biggie. You know what I'm saying? I was a big Biggie fan, big Dipset fan. You know what I'm saying? Big Locks fan, which I think you can hear if you listen to my music. It's kind of like a delightful mix of a lot of those vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair. I never really thought of Locks so much, but I definitely hear it, right? Even Jadakiss and whatnot, and a lot of the bars are maybe delivered in a similar way. So you can definitely see that now that you mention it.
Yeah, those were my heavy, influences in my younger days. And then as I started to, continue, I actually, started to regress from listening because, hip hop is very big on being original. I come from, that school of thought that you gotta have your own shit, you know what I'm saying? And I just didn't want to be influenced by, as much of the game as possible. So I would catch things here and there, but I actually kind of made it my point to try to stay uninfluenced and listen to sounds that I'm trying to get samples from and try to build the brand and build the business.
Yeah, I think that's important. I interview a lot of hip-hop artists, and I kind of see a similar train of thought among a lot of the old-school vets anyhow, which is that they listen to very little hip-hop. They're well-versed in the history, and they know their history, and they know rap music. They can talk all day about hip-hop music and hip-hop culture, but at the same time, when they go home, that's not the shit that they're listening to in most cases, right? They're listening to, your soul, reggae, funk, R&B, just kind of your more, I guess what would be referred to as urban music, right? And they're really wrapped up in that, in those kind of other genres, and seem to leave hip hop on the side in most cases.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a big fan of the culture and I'm a big fan of the art, but as a creator, you wanna be an asset to the culture, and I feel like the best way you can do that, you can always support, and from a business side, I love to support all the artists just really putting their passion forward. So, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm putting the best product forth possible.
Yeah, 100%. You mentioned earlier Iced Out Entertainment being kind of the first crew that you ended up rolling with. I want to pause there for a moment because I find these early kind of history moments really interesting. But Iced Out Entertainment, can you break down exactly who was a part of that and how it ended up kind of coming together? I knew you guys were in high school and whatnot, so I'm sure the story's fairly organic. But how did that come to be?
So yeah, we were kids, you know what I'm saying? Bunch of kids, we was all, hanging out together, cutting school, being teenagers. And a lot of us was from Harlem, from uptown, so we heavily into the Dipset vibe. The jewelry was a big thing, you know what I'm saying? Like having some diamonds, that was a big thing. We didn't have no diamond money though, so we went to 28th Street Wholesale District. We copped some, some glass. I'm sure it wasn't even cubic zirconias. I'm probably sure it was straight glass. You know what I'm saying? But it was shiny than a motherfucker. And we was iced out entertainment. We had our glass bracelets. We thought they was diamonds. The little high school, we thought we was lit. You know what I'm saying? And as far as who was involved, I mean, that's my guys I went to high school with. Shout out to Manny, my boy Melra. RP, my boy Kenny, who just died last year. My boy Cordell, you know what I'm saying? My boy Supreme. There's a couple of us, my boy Hova, you know what I mean? But these are guys that, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if they'll get a chance to, hear this interview, but if they do, those guys were definitely, a foundation piece to, creating who I am today, type shit.
Did anything come out of Iced Out Entertainment? Did you guys put out any projects or even record 4-track demos or anything and shop them around? What was the extent of your output there?
We were smoking weed and rapping outside.
So just freestyle sessions and whatnot, nothing actually put down on wax?
Nah, just battling, freestyles, you know what I'm saying? Being New York teenagers in that era. Really battling against other cliques, other crews in the school, other crews in the, different neighborhoods, and you know what I'm saying, freestyle sessions, getting with the guys and just, making it happen on a block or wherever we at outside the school or, wherever it's going down.
So the era that we're talking about here is kind of late 90s, and I imagine it goes into kind of the early 2000s, but for at least from my perspective, I started seeing your name pop up over maybe the last couple of years, and really with a lot of the names that you kind of associate with. So we mentioned earlier people like Vic Spencer, Flea Lord. These guys have also kind of really started putting in a lot of heavy work over the last couple of years. There's clearly an in-between period there. What happened from the early 2000s up until recently when you started more heavily putting out projects?
I grew up. You know what I'm saying? That was from high school to manhood. So, I mean, that's a very simple question for such an extensive period of time. You know what I'm saying? So when you say what happened, life, you know what I mean? You grow up. I moved to Niagara Falls. I was in the Buffalo area. Both my kids were born in Niagara Falls. I was in I lived in Center Court, salute to Chocolate City and my Niagara Falls family. From Niagara Falls, I moved to Buffalo. I was in and out of Buffalo, building with Biz and my Still a Hustle family. From Buffalo, I moved to Rochester. That's where I first met Ito at maybe 7 years ago. And really building with a lot of the local artists. And, I don't know if it's cats that, maybe the mainstream, well, not mainstream, but this underground kind of cipher would be familiar with. But a lot of the local Rochester talent acts. From there, I moved back to Harlem. That's where you really get used to me at. Is my second comeback to Harlem. And that's when I really started pushing the music full time because I wasn't involved in so much other things.
Gotcha. Yeah, that moving around upstate New York is really interesting because, as you said, a lot of the people that you're collaborating with, that's where they're coming from, right? Your Buffalo cats, your Rochester cats. That's in a large way who you're working with. I want to pause with Flea Lord because I know Flea Lord's a name that is at the very least associated with you pretty heavily at this point, and I know the most recent project was executively produced by him. He's been on numerous joints with yourself. How did you end up meeting Flea Lord, and how did that relationship kind of form?
Me and Flea met in the studio. That was actually my first real music relationship that turned to a brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? he was really just working very, very hard, and we were in the same place at the same time over and over again because I was also working very hard. So, as you consistently booking time, you might see an artist here and there, you meet somebody here and there, you always polite, you shake hands, but when you see somebody every day in the same space, they're always working, you're always walking in, I'm always walking out. We both like to smoke good weed, we both make, different kind of certain type of music. So, it was just more like, he started hanging around a little longer. I started coming a little earlier. You know how this shit go. And we just really started building with each other outside of the studio. You know what I'm saying? Got to meet my family. I got to meet his family. We started building on some other things outside of music and really getting to know each other, as people, and understanding that, our bond is kind of stronger than music. So the music was a very dope plus. He took the time to kind of say, hey, I want to check your shit out and, kind of build a project with you. I was probably 150 songs in, and he took that 150 songs and broke it down to 10 songs and then gave the world to survivors, you know what I'm saying? And that would have been my 10th project as far as releases, what I was working on, but the world, it's kind of like a reinvention for me, so it was a first project, you know what I mean? And then you guys kind of get my discography from, I think, maybe one project before that with Welcome to Ground School and then moving forward to it.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's amazing, man. It's incredible over the last few years how we've seen kind of this underground community really rise up, and these people have been working for years and years and years, but it really feels like the fan base really started to develop over just the last few years, maybe 4 or 5, right? You think about like the Griselda Cats and what they're doing, and obviously they got signed to Shady, and that introduces a whole new kind of section of appeal and fandom. But that type of music has been really like heavily in demand over the last few years. You think about like West Side Gun or Conway and the material that they put out, and they sell out almost instantly in this limited edition vinyl or tape runs that a lot of these artists do, let it be Flea Lord or Ito, etc. They're highly in demand. Like I collect physical media myself, and I'm in a lot of Facebook groups and just kind of within that community, and people are eating this shit up. It's great music, but the thing is, it's been around for so long, and really people are starting to see that this is dope material that's being produced, and a large portion of it is, as I said, coming out of that upstate New York.
Yeah, there's definitely a large movement upstate of very, very talented artists that are, pushing the bill forward. And I got to be a part of that, you know what I'm saying? Because I was in the area where things was going on, you know what I'm saying? So in my 10 to 15 year stint being upstate, I was connected to a lot of things that were going on. But that also didn't have anything to do with my meeting with Flea Lord, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like a lot of things just aligning for me in a special kind of way, you know what I'm saying? Like, and kind of coming together to just, push my career in the right direction.
Have you seen the reception for your projects kind of ramp up over kind of recent years, just in terms of maybe the last like 1 or 2 years, and just have you seen that fandom from kind of the artist side of things?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I don't call any of the people who support or buy my music fans. That's where the Fly family comes in. Like, I call every last person who supports the family. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a time where I had nothing. So, like, what I see from the family, the people who support me, is I've seen people tattoo my album on their body. I've seen people post very heartfelt messages about kind of times they were going through it, what the music helped them get through, and that's what's been important for me. You know what I'm saying? To see these real connections with the people, and continue to grow and make more as I make more music.
Gotcha. I want to talk about the new project here. So the new project, for those listening at home, is titled Progression. It came out recently, September 11th, 2020. It's just a small little, I'm not sure if you're calling it an EP or an album, but it's relatively short. I think it's 5 or 6 songs. Really, really solid project. And for those listening again, you can check it out on Bandcamp. And please do take the moment to go ahead and listen to it. It's really fucking solid. But how did this project come together? So it's 2020. I know the year's been fucking hectic, but in terms of this project specifically, because I feel like it kind of captures this moment in time, at least in terms of where you're at headspace wise, how did this project kind of come to be?
So I was an essential worker. before I had committed myself full time to hip hop, and kind of Lee Fucks, the producer, and Flea had hit me up with kind of the idea. At first, it was just we were going to do a record, and it was kind of my first time doing business with Lee Fucks, and really kind of building organically, and then I sent the record back, and he thought the record was amazing. I loved the record, and he wanted to do a project. So he literally just started sending me beats. He sent me 3 beats. I sent him 3 songs back. I mean, maybe the next day, he sent me a couple more beats. I sent him the songs back in 24 hours, and we had a full project in about a week. You know what I'm saying? So the vibe, I didn't want to. We both decided that on a number of songs and to create an EP, because the experience and the message that we were able to create with the songs, and it just kind of worked beautifully. It was a very organic experience. I was working every day, fucking waking up 4 in the morning, taking a lunch break, going to the studio, knocking the songs out. So what you're hearing is like authenticity, you know what I'm saying? Like every day just trying to push my life forward and fucking trying to see, I don't know what the next step is going to be. It's fucking pandemic. I'm trying to feed the family, make sure shit is copacetic, but at the same time, build this business. So, and keep the art alive. So, progression was literally what I was going through at the time.
Gotcha. You've been consistent over the years with putting out physical releases with every project that you put out. At least the vast majority of them, let it be cassettes or vinyl or CDs. I noticed for this one there isn't any as of yet. Are you planning on putting out any physicals for this project, or?
Yeah, there's a very special physical release coming for this project. I don't know if I'm ready to spill just yet, but it's not ready yet. You know what I'm saying? And when it is, so I have a follow up. I guess I can tell you a little bit. I got a follow up project coming. It's going to be called Regression, and it's going to be kind of the opposite of progression. You know what I'm saying? And the things you got to do to maintain balance, and it's going to be more like a double CD, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be like progression and regression. So it would be like a double kind of project. So that's going to be coming. So that's why there's no physical yet.
Gotcha. So Regression, I assume, is also going to be in a similar format in terms of maybe like a 5 or 6 song EP, and then the Progression obviously already released and done, but 5 or 6 songs, kind of couple them together, and you'll make an album out of it.
Yeah, Progression may end up being a little longer, just because the fun we're having with it. So that's really going to be up to the executive producers, but so far the temperatures, it may be a little longer than Progression, but it's going to be kind of an opposite feeling. So you're going to get like, I'm a Gemini, so it's going to be a very full picture. Once it's completed. You know what I'm saying? It's not ready yet.
Gotcha. The production on this one's handled by Me Fucks. That's correct, right? Me Fucks handled the production for this one?
Yeah, he's going to handle the progression for Regression as well.
Okay, that was going to be my question there. Yeah, I love the production palette, and I touched on this earlier, but you can really end up seeing that kind of soulful grit be applied in a lot of these projects, including Progression. I love it. Obviously, doing this interview here, I've had to do some prep work and go back and listen to some of your material, and I've been playing Progression a lot, but it's man, some of the music that you've been putting out is absolutely incredible, and I love the fact that you're being consistent, that you're still putting out music, and I can't wait for more people to hear it. Like I said, this is my type of music, and it's fucking dope, man. So congratulations on your success so far, and of the new release, and all success to you going forward as well.
I wholeheartedly appreciate that, Lord, for real. And like I said, I'm just gonna keep consistent, keep going, and grow the market, and hopefully get that bigger platform, and we can be able to get the world what we're doing.
Gotcha. So over the next couple of years here, what's kind of the game plan? I don't expect you to have a full plan or even divulge most of it, but where do you kind of see yourself? Do you see yourself shooting for, I guess, what the Griselda guys have gotten? Because I think sonically, I think you guys fit in the same sort of lane, or do you see yourself just kind of sticking to where you're at right now and putting out music and growing that fan base slowly over time?
Well, I guess I just ended up signing with Lord Mob, so we're building, kind of the label from scratch with Fleet Lord and me Fucks also, and
That's fantastic.
yeah, so I believe initially the artists me, Etho, Funk P, and my brother Tia from the West Coast, and Fleet, of course, and as well as Zaza, and I believe a Kill Ali following up, and we kind of trying to change the world as far as music and the message and consistency is concerned. Flea has kind of set the bar with this last year, and I'm here to do my pull-ups and just make sure that we continue to grow this legacy.
That's amazing. I'm looking forward to Regression. I'm looking forward to all the new material that you have on the go. I'm definitely a fan as of now, and I'll definitely be checking up on you. For those listening at home, where can people find you? Let it be Twitter, Facebook, social media platforms, and where can people stay up to date with the current music that's coming out?
Man, all social media platforms, look me up. G's the number 4, JAG. On music, I would like you to check the Bandcamp out. Go to G4JAG.bandcamp.com. Also on all digital streaming platforms, except for the album Progression, because we're kind of funneling the traffic on that. So if you want to check Progression out, the album that we're talking about today, I need you to go to Bandcamp and support the independent artists and really tap in and enjoy that project. And if it resonates for you, man, leave me some feedback. Everybody knows G4. You talk to me, I talk back. So please, feel free to comment, social media, anywhere, what you felt, good, bad, ugly, man. I like to talk to the people. So salute to y'all.
Perfect. Man, again, I can't thank you enough for coming on here. I love the conversation. I'd love to have you back on in the future whenever new projects come out, let that be Regression or any other future project that's coming your way. I'd love to talk to you again and keep this communication going down the road.
Absolutely. I got a lot of good stuff going on. Got some art. Like I said, we just dropped a Kill Ali. The project's doing amazing. Dirty Spirits out now. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. It's on all digital streaming platforms. Dome Networks presents Dirty Spirits by Kill Ali. And, some other artists coming down the pipeline. So we got some dope shit coming. And hopefully, we just continue to make a dope contribution to hip-hop.
Amazing. Again, man, thank you. And we'll definitely end up talking later.
All right. Have a good day.
All right. You as well. Hey, before I get you to go here, are you still on the line?
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay. Is there any way I can steal a moment of your time just to get a radio drop for the radio show? Just something simple like, yo, this is G4 and you're now tuned into Breaking Records Radio. Something simple like that would be amazing if I could.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
All right, let's do it. Hey, yo, this is G4 Jag, and you're now tuned into Breaking Records Radio, man.
Oh, man, thank you so much. Once again, I'm a fan. I'd love to again, just, I guess, continue building this relationship down the road. So whenever new projects come out, feel free to hit me up. I'll try to stay up to date with what you're dropping as well, and I guess be active in reaching out myself. But if I don't get a chance to, definitely end up hitting me up, and we'll end up scheduling another interview. Let that be for Breaking Records Radio or another platform that I'm working with. I write for a couple different publications as well. So just keep me up to date with what's going on, and we'll definitely end up talking again. Like I said, I'm a fan as of now.
All right, man, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, definitely. Let's stay in contact.
Perfect. All right, you have yourself a wonderful night.
All right, you too, sir.
Peace.
All right, peace.